Take less than that chair. Bob Sullivan, Sabon.
Sabon.
Kujan.
Gunjani.
Ngiyapil.
Sorry, I'm a little bit hard of hearing. If I can ask you to speak up a bit.
Ngiyapil unjan.
Yeah. What can I say?
Sibong. Quick one. You stated somewhere here, you said, if it wasn't for you, Pahlane would walk away with crime. You just said that earlier on.
I said, if I hadn't have opened the case against him, he would have got away with it.
So you admit you're the one who opened the case?
I've stated it in my affidavit that on the 25th of February 2016, I opened a comprehensive criminal docket against General Thulani, having spent several months investigating after receiving information from whistleblowers who came forward and provided me with evidence.
So can you, in South African law, open a case against somebody and then be an investigator at the same time?
So, I've made it clear. If I look at my statement to the Zondo Commission, I make it clear that opening a docket is different if you're the victim of a crime. Now, for example, if somebody breaks into my office and steals my computers, it would be inappropriate for me to do anything more than an internal investigation and then open a docket. When it comes to Forensics for Justice, which was a charity that was formed for the purpose of investigating state-sponsored corruption, I formed a team of people that could investigate and did investigate and provided those resources to the state because the state is under-resourced when it comes to investigating that type of crime.
May I interject you?
Pardon me?
May I interject you? My question is it allowed in South African law to open a case and be the investigator at the same time? The question is it allowed in the South African law?
It happens all the time, Chairman.
No. The question is, did it happen before? Did it happen at... I'm only asking,
yes,
is it allowed in the South African law to be an investigator, at the same time be the person who opened the case as a civilian?
Yeah, it's allowed.
No, it's not allowed.
It's allowed.
No, we'll argue that later. That's wrong. The Rodovan Creature's house.
Yeah.
Are you staying there?
No.
Did you stay there?
Pardon?
Did you stay there?
Never.
Have you been in that house?
I've been in it.
Doing what?
Having a look.
Just a look.
Had a bride there.
Had a bride there.
Uh-huh.
On what conditions were you having a bride there?
Pardon me?
On what conditions were you having a bride there? Who authorized you to have a bride there in that house?
Well, the owner of the house.
Who's that?
A company.
Whose company is that?
Pardon?
Whose company is that?
It's not my company.
Whose company is it?
I don't
Who's
know.
the owner?
I don't know the name of the owner now.
How were you invited by a person you don't know?
Pardon?
How were you invited by a person you don't know to a braai?
Sorry, Chairman. I wasn't invited.
Oh, you went to a braai.
Can I finish answering?
Time.
So, I wasn't invited. I got hold of the company that purchased the house.
Yes.
And I can't remember his name. I got hold of the director and I said, can I come there and have a braai?
Who's that owner?
Pardon?
Who is that owner? How did you get hold of that name?
That person doesn't own the house anymore. It's owned by somebody else.
It's fine. I'm not asking who owns the house now. I'm asking who is that owner?
His name, Anthony Fitzhenry.
Okay. Now, at that time you went to that braai, your life was in danger, right? Is that the reason the braai was private?
What one doesn't like to do is go out in public places when you know that there's somebody trying to kill you.
Yes. And at that time, you went to that house invited by a person you don't know. You went to the braai of a house of a person you don't know, but your life was in danger. Does it make sense?
It's not true, Chairman. I'll explain to the member again. I got hold of the owner of the house and I asked him if I could use the house for a braai. I wasn't invited.
Did you know the business owner?
Pardon?
Did you know the business owner? Were you friends?
I'm sorry, I can't.
Were you friends with the business owner of the house?
Yeah.
Now you are friends.
Yeah.
You started by saying you didn't know the house owner, you didn't know the business owner. Now you changed and you are friends.
We're friends now, yeah.
Baba Gashamang.
Pardon?
No, you're lying.
Pardon?
You're lying.
I lie what?
Your statement, you've got three statements at once. You said you didn't know the business owner. You got a call from a person you don't know.
I got hold of
Suddenly you had a bride there of a house of
Yes,
a person
and
you didn't know.
we became
Did
friends.
you buy that house of Red of and Creature?
No.
Is that your house?
No.
Did you buy it indirectly through a company?
No.
If your life is in danger, how would you go to a house of a person you don't know? I see, yeah, leave it. It's fine. I see, yeah, I'm not for never in mansion. Now. Tell me this. A makeup artist is shot dead, allegedly, by her boyfriend.
Pardon?
A makeup artist. Facial makeup artist.
Who?
I'll tell you the name later. Let's listen to the story. She is shot dead, allegedly, by her boyfriend. And the policeman covers up that story, allegedly. Right? Keep that in mind, 1. 2, drugs worth 300 million get stolen and lost. A case alleges that a person who is a police officer is involved in that case, and the case gets withdrawn. That's number 2. Are you following? A father loses his son in hospital when a doctor was operating that son. It is alleged that that father goes and says to his friend he has shot that doctor because he lost his son through the hands of that doctor. That's number 3. Are you following?
I'm trying to.
Okay, very, very well. You're doing very well. It is also alleged that cigarette smugglers, cigarette sellers and all that get cases covered up by the same police officer. Now, the most amazing thing is this. This police officer owns multiple franchise of business, lucrative businesses. But this person remains a senior officer with a very little salary compared to what he's making outside.
Sorry, can I just ask you to slow down a bit because if you're talking fast, I'm not keeping up. Just the last sentence.
Now, this person is a businessman who owns franchises, lucrative franchises. But he remains a police officer.
Like McDonald's or something like this.
I'll mention the businesses later if I have to. This person remains in the police leadership. But you, as a lover of South Africa, never investigates that person, Farouz Khan. We can't even get the name here in Parliament to get that person to come here and answer for his question. It's apparently he's being covered up and protected. Even by us now, they say we are protecting him. We can't get him here. Why didn't you investigate Farouz Khan, but you went for Patlani? You do not have a single evidence of what he has done. Your statement sitting there in front of you doesn't have an ounce of evidence about Mr. Patlani. Why did you leave Farouz Khan out?
Chairman, there's probably 1 million crimes going on in South Africa. And you can ask me the same question, why I didn't investigate them. Let me just put the following to you. Forensics for Justice is a registered non-profit organization, non-profit company, NPC. It has limited resources. Nobody came to us, by the way, with all this talk about the makeup artist.
But that you do know Khan, right?
I've met him twice.
You know Sibia, right?
I've met him several times.
Mandla, right?
Who?
Mandla Mahlangu.
Yes.
Mandla Mahlangu has a 7 million rand plot. Has a house in Savannah with a salary of SAPS. Why would a police officer, why would a person who owns so much businesses continue to be a police officer when he can open that space for people in South Africa to get a job, who has multi-millions of businesses, sits there and it doesn't catch your eye? Allegations of 300 million of drugs, that doesn't catch your eye. But Patlani's house catches your eye. 80,000 rand sound catches your attention. Aye, Bob Sullivan. You are silent.
Sorry, Chairman. Is that a question?
It is a question. I'm just curious on how do you pick who to attack?
Pardon?
How do you pick? How do you identify who to attack? Why would you leave Mandla? Why would you leave Farouz Khan out and just go strictly for this person, Upatlan, for 80,000 rand for a sound system that has proof of payment? Your statement doesn't even have one single evidence of Patlani. I'm even thinking that Patlani was this dismissal of his is also something that we need to look at. Uyangizwa yazi. Uyazi uyangizwa ngempela. Akasezwa mase khuluma mina manje.
Okay.
No, I will end here, Chair. Thank you.
So the reality of the situation, Chairman, it's not a case of what catches my eye. If somebody comes to us and gives us information that, in this case, it was a Brigadier Munsami in the police who came to us and explained to us in some detail about how he believed there was corruption going on with General Pashlani. As far as you mentioned Feroz Khan, I had a tip-off about Feroz Khan. And when I investigate that tip-off, I found that the tip-off was false. So I called, I didn't tell Feroz Khan who the tip-off came from, but I called Feroz Khan and I sat him down and I explained what the tip-off was, and he gave me and that was like 5 or 6, maybe more years ago, and that was the last time I saw him. Now, at the end of the day, we can't just say, oh, something catches our eye, so we must go and investigate it. We're not the state. We're a charity. And we don't have limitless resources that we can run around.
But Mr. Sullivan.
And do all these things. When in fact, when somebody comes to us with prima facie evidence, we then have the ability to investigate something, and we investigate it. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm saying you must know our South African language. You've been here for 40 years. You must know simple things. You say you love South Africa, right? Wait. It doesn't make sense that Mr. Patlani has paid for that sound system and has proof, but you continued with the case. But you're saying with Farouz Khan, you got a tip off and you just let it go just like that.
No. In fact, unfortunately, you've completely misinterpreted the statement, which is included in my bundle.
What evidence does your statement have on Patlani? Just one evidence.
You know, Chairman, I can't
but I'm only asking, while you are I'm just talking on top of question. You can answer. You hear me?
I cannot answer one question.
Oh, Lord.
Or while I'm answering it, I get another question. So the reality of the situation is that the evidence in the Pashlani case that we investigated, the sound system was less than 1% of the complaint. In fact, as far as the sound system was concerned, we weren't interested in the purchase of the sound system. We were interested in the fact that a contractor of the police installed the sound system. In other words, a police supplier went to his house and installed the equipment in his house, and he didn't pay for that installation. The other part of our complaint was that he built a house.
Why did you go and look for proof of payment for the sound?
5 million rand.
Babu Paul, why did you go and look for proof of payment if it wasn't important, Babu Paul? Just simple.
I don't know what the question is. So I can just get a question.
I'm grateful, thank you. I'm sorry to say that.